speak? Would you pour down like rain, washing my eyes to see your majesty, to be still and know that you're in this place? Please let me stay and rest in your holiness. Word of God, speak.
All right, welcome to Wednesday night's Bible study. My name is Philip Brand, and this is
Seth Parnell.
Yeah. The title of tonight's Bible study is Red Sea Rules.
Red Sea rules.
Red Sea Rules.
Like rules or like...
You're going to see. You're going to see.
Ooh.
You are going to see
I'll see red.
what the Red Sea Rules.
And when I read it, I will have read.
The Red Sea Rules. If I wrote it down for you.
Yeah.
I will read the Red Sea Rules, maybe.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, if you want to
If
do
I
it
take
that way.
notes.
If you take notes, you can reread the Red Sea Rules.
Yeah. I like it.
Now that we have everybody totally confused, let's turn in our Bibles to Exodus chapter 14. This is part 19 of our study through the book of Exodus. This is good news for you because last week I wasn't able to get through the whole chapter, and so you said 76. Grayson said 60, so this actually helps you out for me to not do this all at one time, right? So 19. But I'll have to say, currently, we're on track for what Grayson said.
I feel like we're hoping we at least get to 60.
Yeah, hoping we'll get to 60, but yeah, but we'll see. We'll see.
Just like the bigger numbers.
Yeah. So this is picking up where we left off from last week. And if you haven't watched that video, I expect go back and watch part 18 so that you can catch up to where we are. Just a little background. The children of Israel have left. They have made it to the Red Sea. God told them to camp toward the Red Sea. That means their tents would open toward the Red Sea. They wouldn't open to the left, to the right, or to the back, because he wanted them to see what was in front of them, not what was even beside them, but definitely not what was behind them. Because what is happening here is behind them now is Pharaoh's army. And we discussed last week that Pharaoh's army consisted of 600 of his chariots. That means that's 1,200 men, 1,200 horses. And then the text says all the other chariots in Egypt, and then horsemen. So there's chariots, then all the other chariots, and then horsemen, and then there's foot soldiers. So Pharaoh has literally emptied his land of an army, with an army to go after the children of Israel. Now you might ask why. Well, if you're going to take slaves back and it's over 1 million of them, you're going to need a lot of structure.
Yeah.
So, it is a force, but at the same time, he needs that to get them back, to guide them on the way back. So that brings us to verse 15, where the children of Israel have just said that it had been better for us to be in Egypt and doing the things that we're most familiar with. So there's some fear going on there. And verse 15 is where the Lord talks to Moses about this situation. So verse 15 says this: "The Lord said to Moses, 'Why do you cry to me? Tell the people of Israel to go forward.'" Now there's a lot of discussion here about that question, why do you cry to me? The Lord said to Moses. Some people say that it's toward the children of Israel. Why are the children of Israel crying to me? But I just want to say that when you look at this in the Hebrew, it seems, and I'm not the best in Hebrew, it seems that the why do you cry to me actually reflects back on Moses rather than the people. So it points back to Moses. And I don't know why Moses would be crying out, unless this crying out is, Lord, what are we going to do? We have a Red Sea in front of us, and then we have this army behind us, and we're trapped. And he's crying out to the Lord for the Lord to save them, possibly. I don't think at this point in time that Moses is losing faith. He seems to not lose faith all the way through till he dies. I mean, he does strike a rock. I realize that's a faith issue, but I'm talking about a faith where he fears. He strikes a rock because he's just tired of the people. I get being tired. I get tired of being. I get being tired of the people. Okay, I get it because it's frustrating sometimes. But I don't think it has to do with fear. The people definitely fear, but Moses, for some reason, I don't know why he's crying out to the Lord. But nonetheless, he says, "Why do you cry to me? Tell the people of Israel to go forward." I think that is great instructions for when you are in a situation where you see no way out. Just go forward.
Yeah.
Just absolutely go forward. Don't go backwards. Don't stay where you are. Don't give up. Just take the next step. Go forward. Well, there's a Red Sea in front of me. There's no way I can go one step forward. Yes, you can. Even when there's a Red Sea in front of you, you still take the next step by faith because you're looking for God to do something for you at this point, right? Going back shouldn't be an option, but going forward should be an option. Verse 16 says, "Lift up your staff." That is the same staff that has done all the plagues up until this point. "And stretch out your hand over the sea and divide it, that the people of Israel may go through the sea." And if you're underlining, underline this phrase, "on dry ground." It is a key component to this sea parting. It's dry ground. I think it's a great miracle that water would part. I think it's a bigger miracle when that water parts and the ground is dry.
Yeah.
That means all the moisture is soaked up from it and it's dry so they can go through.
Yeah.
So we can pause here to say when God makes a way for you, he makes a way for you to succeed. So the mud is gone. So if you have a cart with all your belongings on it, it's going to make it through the Red Sea because he's creating the conditions so that you can take the next step forward. Right?
Yeah.
So I think we keep that in mind. Verse 17, "And I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians so that they shall go in after them, and I will get glory over Pharaoh and all his host, his chariots, and his horsemen." This is the first time in Scripture that we see all the Egyptians that are present, their hearts being hardened. Up until this point, it was Pharaoh. And then in, I think it's chapter 10, verse 3, we have Pharaoh and his counselors. Their hearts are hardened. But this is the first and only time we see that all the Egyptians present, their hearts are hardened as well. So this is the entire army, at least. I don't think it's referring to the people back home. Yeah. In verse 18, "And the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord when I have gotten glory over Pharaoh, his chariots, and his horsemen." So God is saying they are going to know that I did this. Not you, but me. Yeah. So what do you think about that first couple verses?
Yeah, I mean, the dry ground really sticks out to me because if you think about, I mean, God parted the waters. Yeah, he did. But if you just part the waters, there's mud. I mean, the bottom of a lake, the bottom of a sea, that it's saturated.
Yeah.
And so he not only visually makes a way, but like you can get to your destination.
Yeah.
He's going to make sure you succeed. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
And then, and I will get glory over Pharaoh and all his host. I just that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome language.
Yeah, they're the most powerful nation in the world, but they're not as powerful as God is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And people will glorify and worship. That particular word glory is one that's outside of God. Like there's a glory that he has within him. And then there's a glory that people give to him because they see his strength. And so this is a glory where people are seeing their strength. So they're giving glory to God. They're giving God credit for the power that he displayed in this moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. Verse 19, the angel of God. By the way, we could stop there to say the last time we saw angel of God was in chapter 3 of Exodus and the burning bush. So this is the same angel of the Lord. This is I wouldn't say pre-incarnate. This is a pre-appearance of Jesus. We talked about in the past how there are physical manifestations of the angel of the Lord, and then there's other manifestations, and one of them is fire. And here it is the fire that is the presence of Jesus. We know this because there's fire and there's the cloud that's leading them, and inside of the cloud is the fire, which is the angel of the Lord, which is Jesus. So Jesus is with them. The angel of God, who was going before the host of Israel, moved and went behind them, and the pillar of cloud moved from before them and stood behind them. So here we see this connection between the cloud surrounding the fire and following the fire. So the fire moves from the front and goes to the back, and soon afterwards is the pillar and the cloud. That's how that goes. So they're not the same. They're not the same. They're separate. But the cloud would not be there if the fire wasn't, if the angel of the Lord wasn't. So moved before them and stood behind them. So you have the Red Sea, you have the children of Israel, you have the flame of fire, and then you have this cloud. All right? And then behind the cloud is, of course, the Egyptian army. Now, with that in mind, which I'm sure everybody has always had that in mind, like when they read this passage, because we've seen the flannel graph. That takes some people back, right? Or we've seen the pictures or the movie, right? But verse 20 says, coming between the host of Egypt and the host of Israel, and there was the cloud and the darkness, and it, the cloud, lit up the night, which shows you that fire is part of the cloud, okay? Without one coming near the other all night. So what this is drawing a picture of is that you have this fire and you have this cloud, and in front of the cloud in the Israelite area, they can see. It's lighting their way. But the cloud is shielding the light of that fire, and behind them is darkness. Okay? So it says, without one coming near the other all night, the Egyptians couldn't see them. They could hear them, but they couldn't see them. So they couldn't come near them all night long. So when they cross over the Red Sea, there's some distance between them and this army. Okay. So verse 21 says, then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord drove the sea back by a strong east wind all night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. Now, there's nothing in Scripture that says what I'm about to say, but I think that this parting of the waters was over a mile long. It is a mass amount of people.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be 100 yards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just not going to be 100 yards. It's at least a mile. There are some commentators that I read that said it's between 5 and 7 miles. But there's absolutely no way that you would know that.
Yeah.
There's no way that you could know that. So, but I think that's doable, right? Because even 7 miles that's 1 million people. They could cross really quickly. I mean, that's a mass of people.
Yeah, and even if it was more narrow, it's a long train of people
Right.
going through, having to wait their turn, and
Yeah.
I remember reading a study one time, like an Army, what are they called? Army Corps of Engineers.
Yeah.
He had done a study on like the number of people and put into account like kids and animals and belongings and everything, and I forget exactly what the number was, but it was like a massive, like the land location was huge. How many people would have to go through that little area?
And it's from that sort of thinking that they get the 5 to 7 miles.
Yeah.
I'm not against that at all, but I know that it's over a mile.
Yeah,
It
had to be.
So today we were talking about, we're dedicating our new building on November 2nd. And there's a plan to kind of do a prayer time and maybe circle it. And you said probably 200, right?
Roughly.
200. So if you, keeping that in mind, it's a big difference between 200 and over 1 million.
Yeah.
and that's a 80 by 60 space that we're trying to circle around. So it was a mass of people. So no telling how far this thing was, or how wide it was. Verse 22, and the people of Israel went into the midst of the sea on dry ground, the waters being a wall to them on their right hand and on their left. So I guess if you're in the middle, you can still see the water because people can see, and I'm sure it's not flat, but it's still, you could see down, where it was. I think that would have been a sight to see on their left. In verse 23, the Egyptians pursued and went in after them into the midst of the sea, all Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen. Now I want you to keep in mind that in front is light so the children of Israel can see where they're going. Behind is darkness, and the Egyptians don't really know where they're going because it's darkness. I think that they knew that the sea had parted. That's a big possibility. I think that they knew that they were going into the seabed, but I don't think they could see much past that because it was dark. So they go in. So the way this works is, like I'll do it with my hands here for the camera. Maybe I hopefully do it the right way. The children of Israel are crossing the Red Sea here. There is fire. There is a cloud that's passing with them at their back flank. And then right here is, like, this is still the cloud, right? Here's the army of the Egyptians, and it's dark here as they're passing through. So I think that's how that was happening.
Yeah, they probably couldn't even have fathomed what was happening. Like, where did they go? The sea should be right here.
Yeah.
What, did they go through the sea? Like,
what is
swimming?
going on? Yeah.
I've never seen this before.
Because who would have thought that this could happen?
Yeah.
So verse 24, in the morning watch, the Lord in the pillar of fire. Okay, so and of cloud. So notice that. In the morning watch, the Lord in the pillar of fire and cloud. That means it's one. Do you see where I'm getting that from?
Yeah.
I mean, that's another confirmation of it. Looked down on the Egyptian forces and threw the Egyptian forces into panic. So Jesus looks down and sees them. It's not that he didn't know they were there.
Yeah.
Right, but he looks down and he sees them. So he throws them into panic, clogging their chariot wheels, so they drove heavily. So one thing we haven't considered here is seaweed. So there's vegetation on the bottom of this thing. And the children of Israel went across with no problem. No seaweed in the wheel, no nothing like that. And all of a sudden, it's clogged. Now, we think it's also mud as well. But everything behind the cloud got wet.
Yeah.
Everything in front of the fire was dry. So you have this situation where this is moving like this, and it's going from dry to wet in just a matter of a few feet or whatever it is, which I think is an incredible miracle. Yeah. As they're going through. Yeah. So that they drove heavily, and the Egyptians said, let us flee from before Israel, for the Lord fights for them against the Egyptians. It had gotten so hard that they knew that the Lord was fighting against them. So he's getting glory, right? Let me just say, we will see this fire and cloud combo again at Mount Sinai in chapter 19, whichever part that will be. Okay. Verse 26, the Lord said to Moses, stretch out your hand over the sea, and the water may come back upon the Egyptians and upon their chariots and upon their horsemen. So Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the sea returned to its normal course when the morning appeared. And as the Egyptians fled into it, the Lord threw the Egyptians into the midst of the sea. Now, from that, what we think we know is that Moses stretched his hands out on the sea. Their wheels are already clogged. They're already saying we need to go back. But when the sea started to come back in, it went from shore to shore. So the water on the Hebrew side, Israel side, started closing in from the shoreline, and from the opposite shoreline, the water started closing in, and it closed in around the Egyptians,
Trapped them.
so that they could not escape. That's the waters returned, and the chariots and the horsemen and all the host of Pharaoh that had followed them into the sea. Not one of them remained. But back up a little bit further so Moses stretched out his hand, verse 27, over the sea, and the sea returned to its normal course when the morning appeared, and as the Egyptians fled into it. So it's coming from behind them, and it's coming from in front of them, and they had nowhere to go. They couldn't even go to the left and right.
Yeah.
In fact, they might have saw it coming from the other shore and went left. And then it's coming this direction. So no matter where they ran, they were running into the sea.
Yeah. Wow.
And I think that's also miraculous. Because I would have done it from the back. Right? Just all the way through. Or all at the same time. But no, God was going to take them out.
Yeah. Make sure they couldn't escape.
Yeah. But the people of Israel, verse 29, walked on dry ground through the sea, and the waters being a wall to them on their right hand and on their left. Verse 30, thus the Lord saved Israel that day from the hand of the Egyptians, and Israel saw the Egyptians dead on the seashore. Now I'm going to stop here to say there is a debate about the Red Sea, and there's some people that say that it was a shallow part of the Red Sea where they crossed, and they will look at the Red Sea and mark out different places where they could have crossed, and the water, is just shallow enough for them to cross over and kind of skinny in that particular moment. The problem with that whole scenario is that the entire Egyptian army died, including horses.
Right.
And the Egyptians' armor may have made them sink, but horses can swim.
Yeah.
And maybe the horses were saved. Maybe they did to get to the other side. But they were covered up. And then, do you know
I
what?
was taking miles in half.
Yeah, and then, I've seen a horse swim before.
No, I just mean like they might not have made it though.
They might not have. Yeah. But we have Egyptian soldiers dead on the seashore. So they had drowned and then washed up on shore.
Yeah.
Is what had happened. So it was enough water to take you to the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was enough water to kill you. So it wasn't shallow. And that's about all I'm going to say about that, because I think the rest of it's ridiculous. Verse 31, Israel saw the great power that the Lord used against the Egyptians. So the people feared the Lord. That's a good fear. It's a reverent fear. And they believed in the Lord and in his servant Moses. So Moses gained credibility. The Lord got the glory. They knew that God did it, but Moses was his servant. So that's pretty good. In fact, they're saying, at this point, they're saying only God could have done this.
Yeah.
Okay? So that brings us to the Red Sea rules. Okay? The Red Sea rules. This is some comments from a book called The Red Sea Rules. It's a little bitty book, and it's written by Robert J. Morgan. And I thought, he has 10 of these. We're going to go over some of them next week as well. But I just wanted to go over 5 of them.
Okay.
Red Sea rules about this particular passage. So, rule number 1. Realize God meant for you to be where you are. I think what makes that particular phrase even more impactful is the tagline to the book that says, the same God who led you in will lead you out. The same God that led you into your particular situation where you feel it's a trap and there's no way out will lead you out. So you realize God meant for you to be where you are. The children of Israel, obviously, were meant to be where they were at. The pillar of fire, the cloud, Jesus being in that midst, led them exactly where he wanted them to be.
Yeah.
And I think we need to have a confidence that no matter where you are today, God led you there. Now, there are some places, if you sinned, that you have caused your own pain. right? And Jesus might not have led you there. But if you're following Jesus and having a tough problem, and you know it's not because of sin, he knows where you are, and he knows how to get you out of there. So what do you think of that point that good old Robert J. Morgan made?
I think it's good. I mean, I think it's interesting that the very thing that the Israelites thought was their barrier is what God used to conquer the people.
The very thing they thought was their barrier was their salvation.
Yeah. And so, I mean, that further proof that God's got you right where he wants you. Strategically moved you, even if you don't think that it is a good move, God's got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
So here's the next one. When you're in a situation like this, you feel no way out, be more concerned for God's glory than for yourself. That's hard hitting. Because when you're in a difficult situation, and I really don't have to describe this really, but I need to. When you're in a difficult situation, it's very easy to be self-focused and, oh, woe is me, and this is what has happened to me, and you just constantly list the negative after the negative after the negative. But if you think in terms of, I really need to be concerned for God's glory instead of my salvation. I need to be more concerned about reflecting God in an appropriate way than about my success. It changes your perspective of the situation, especially when you've adopted that you are supposed to be there because Jesus has led you there.
Yeah, that's kind of the foundational
Yeah,
point.
that's
right
the
there.
foundation. Yeah. And then this is for God's glory. And so my next step, whatever it is, I'm going to have the appropriate attitude that will bring him glory. I'm going to step out in faith that will bring him glory, because this is about God's glory more than it is about me.
Yeah,
So thoughts?
that's good. It's humbling.
Yeah.
I mean, God's not just doing this for you to make you feel better, to give you salvation. He's doing it ultimately to give himself glory.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing. We want to give him glory. That's why we're here.
Right.
And it kind of takes you, it puts your focus back on him. I can go through a little suffering if it's going to give him glory in the meantime.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's good.
Yep. All right, here's number 3. 3 of 5 for this week. All right.
Oh man, not all 10.
Acknowledge your enemy, but keep your eyes on the Lord. Acknowledge your enemy, but keep your eyes on the Lord. Faith is not ignoring the problem.
Yep.
Faith is saying that problem is there, but I'm going to keep my eyes on Jesus to get through it.
Yeah.
Last week we talked about how they turned around and they saw the Egyptian army, and their focus was more on fear and the fear of the army and the problem. And that's why they complained, and that's why they went back to, well, we would have been safer and better in Egypt. This would have never happened if we had never left. And they feared for their lives. This speaks to that. You acknowledge the enemies behind you, but then you keep your eyes on the Lord who is in front of you. So thoughts on that one?
Yeah, that's good. I mean, don't, just because you have faith doesn't mean you're dumb and you're numb to what's all around you. You know what's going on. You can still be keen and have a keen sense. Well, there's danger here. This is my enemy.
Yeah.
I don't need to go towards my enemy. I need to run away from my enemy or fight my enemy or whatever you need to do. But ultimately knowing, but God's got it.
Yeah.
God's got it.
So I think a way to keep your eyes on Jesus is to say, Jesus, what do I need to do now? What's my next step?
Yeah.
I need to know what to do. My enemy's here. I know I'm where I'm supposed to be because you led me here. But what am I supposed to do next? And please act and help me in this situation, because I don't know what you're going to do next.
Yeah.
It may not have anything to do with me. God might just take care of it. But it may have a lot to do with me. So acknowledge your enemy, but keep your eyes on the Lord. Here's the 4th one. Stay calm and confident and give God room to work. Stay calm. Let's just start with stay calm.
Yeah.
So many people do not stay calm.
Yeah.
We live in a society where it says it's okay to have anxiety, it's okay to feed your worry, it's okay to express yourself, it's okay to be upset, and you just need to express yourself. Don't keep it all in. I'm a proponent of there's some of this stuff you need to keep inside.
Yeah.
Because at the point where you are no longer calm is the point that you've crossed the line.
Yeah.
I think you should express your emotions. I think God gave us emotions to be expressed. But emotions that are overly expressed lead you down a road that's really driven by a lack of faith.
Yeah.
So you stay calm. You feel yourself getting anxious, you breathe, you stay calm. And then the next part of that is, and confident. Well, what is your confidence in? Well, obviously, your confidence is in God who put you there. And it's for his glory, so your confidence is in him, that he's going to see you through. And then it's keep your eyes on the Lord, which we talk about all the time, but has it, not to borrow from Sunday, but has that really clicked? Is that really something you do? You could be in a situation like this where you could say, Lord, it's very hard for me to keep my eyes on you because I can't see you. But that also is a part of faith.
Yeah.
Right. So thoughts on that one?
Yeah, no, that's good. I think that is our number one thing, response to our problem, whatever the problem is, it's to freak out.
Yeah.
And you have to stay calm, keep your confidence, keep your eyes on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's different than a phobia.
Right.
If you don't like tight places, you don't like tight places. You stay away from the tight places. But, you get a call or something doesn't go your way or something like that. Sometimes people allow that to ruin the rest of their day. And they really should have just stayed calm and confident that God has this. Yeah. And here's the last one. When unsure, take the next step, whether it is illogical or logical.
Yeah. Go forward, Moses.
So, the reason I say illogical, I don't mean stupid. Right? But, I mean, illogical is I'm stretching out my hands over a sea. I have no idea what's going to happen. Yeah. God didn't tell him he was going to part the sea.
Yeah.
So Moses didn't know that. So he's going out in front of people, and some of the people could see him. He's out in front of people. He's got his staff. He's stretched out, right? You could really feel like a fool walking out in front and stretching out. Yeah. It's much easier to take the Ark of the Covenant and put your feet in the water. I think. That's what happened with the crossing of the Jordan later on. Yep. But to just stand on the edge and stretch out your hands, that's just kind of odd. So no matter how illogical it is, you take the next step that God puts in front of you. Or how logical it is, you take the next step that is right in front of you. So I thought those were some great Red Sea rules.
Yeah, I think those are good.
That fit right in.
I like it.
So any comments on that one, the last one?
Yeah, I think that one kind of builds off the fourth one. Mm-hmm. Like you don't just do things because, well, maybe this will work. Right. You have to have a confidence that God's telling you to do it, but confidence that, well, you're telling me to do this, but it doesn't make sense. Yeah. But I'm going to do it anyways.
But I'm going to do it because you told me to. Yeah. One of them is love your enemies.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to continue to love my enemy. It doesn't feel like I should. It feels like I should hate them. It feels like I should strike out against them. But I'm going to love them anyway. It seems illogical to love your enemies.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that you have to have them over to your house and buddy-buddy with them. It just means you have to love them at a distance.
Yeah.
At a distance. But there's something about doing the stuff that God tells you to do that you think is illogical, but it makes total sense to the creator of the universe. So that's our lesson for today.
That's good.
That's it.
The Red Sea Rules.
The Red Sea Rules. And we will probably do a couple more of them at the beginning of the next Bible study.
And if you watch this one, then those 5 will have been read.
They will have been read. And maybe you will see.
Maybe you will.
All right, with that corniness, we will say grace and peace until next week.
That you're in this place. Please let me stay and rest in your holiness. Finding myself at a loss for words, and the funny thing is, it's so